We're all here. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. on December 22nd. Item number one is public comment, but I'm pretty sure we do not have any public on the line. So unless we do, Betsy, I don't see anybody.
No, and I didn't receive any emails.
So we will skip to number two, and we have a quorum. So we can review and approve the September, November minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them via email? Yes, Debbie?
I did not. Can you just give me 1 minute?
Donovan approved them even though he wasn't at the meeting, or?
I think that technically you can approve something if you weren't at the meeting. It's a little awkward, but my understanding is that it's allowed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I lost my okay. There we go. I make a motion to accept minutes.
Can I get a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, so update on the residents and business survey. I'll turn that over to Betsy.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did we do September and November? I thought you guys just did September.
Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. Let's can I get a motion to approve the November minutes?
I'll make motion.
Make a second.
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay. Cleo seconded it. All in favor? All right. I guess I should ask, does anyone have any questions about the minutes? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Is that everyone? Toby, you approve the minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, quickly, I didn't actually see the minutes in the September minutes in the email, so I got a little turned around. I thought we were including the November minutes.
All right.
So the September minutes were a link inside the agenda.
Got it.
I'll give you a second. You can go. Well, Toby, look, just so you know, I have another Zoom meeting at 7:30 tonight, and Betsy has a scheduling conflict with Zoom. Try to get through this.
Yeah, sure.
You good? Okay. Any questions on the minutes? Toby, are you in favor? All right, cool.
Yep.
All right, so the survey of the residents and businesses.
Sure. So I think you guys saw the very large Excel spreadsheet that I sent out the other day with the survey answers. And when I checked again yesterday, we had gone from 44 responses up to 130. So we're getting a pretty good response rate. I've put it in the town e-newsletter once. It's been on Facebook once, and it was in the physical newsletter that goes out to residents, and it's also on the town website. So I'm hoping if I can do each of those things one more time, if you guys are able to kind of talk it up if or when you see people, or share on Facebook, that should also help us get some more responses.
So it was shared, Ed Walsh shared it on the Woodbridge Watch page.
Oh, good.
And then I shared that to the Woodbridge Bethany page.
Okay.
So that was all within the last, I think that was Saturday.
Okay.
So there was 2 questions though that I messaged in the Woodbridge Bethany Residence Forum. So Ellen Scalachar asked, should we be filling it out as of now, or should it really reflect a non-COVID time? And I thought it was like a pre-COVID or return to normal of what your shopping dining patterns are, because obviously now isn't really reflective. And that was a good point that she made. And someone else said something like, yeah, me too, I was wondering the same thing. So I don't know if in the top of the survey, if it's still able to be edited, maybe it refers to that, or do we want it to be as of today, where no one's really doing as much shopping or dining as they would have done last year, or hopefully 6 months from now?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Are we looking for a climate pre-COVID, or are we looking for the climate at the moment?
I would say a pre and post, if it were me. What are people looking for? I think, to me, the whole
I think that's
survey is more about what you're looking for than what you're doing today. Because we know today, pre-COVID or during, we're not able to meet everyone's needs and expectations. Not we, like the business community is not able to meet everyone's needs and expectations. So to me, it's a pre or a post.
I mean, I think we're
Yeah,
trying to.
that is-
I do too. I think we're trying to survey our population to find out what they want, what they do, what their habits are, so we can try to bring in business that people are looking for.
So obviously we already have 100 and change responses, which I think is pretty good. But if it's still able to be edited, maybe we put an intro line in there of what were your patterns like throughout 2019, and what do you expect them to be for 2021? Maybe we just kind of just skip on over 2020. Happy to do so.
Well, I also wonder if some people have changed. I mean, obviously people have changed their behaviors, right? But I wonder if some people have changed their behaviors in ways that they want to continue. So in the past, I would go out to eat as a social thing, and now I'm getting takeout every week to give myself a break. And it's like on Thursdays we order takeout, and because I pick it up on my way home from work, I'm being very thoughtful about where I'm eating. It has to be on my way home. So it's Woodbridge and very specific parts of Hamden. I don't know how much of that I'm going to keep after the pandemic, but it is certainly interesting to think about, where I'm eating now versus where I used to eat when it was for social reasons.
Right.
Well,
And I think for a lot of people who have been doing Instacart or not going to the stores as much, like me, I might keep that up. I'm in no rush to go push a cart and wait in line and do all of that. Other things I can't wait to get back to, but some things like that, not so much.
Or also just like I'm
Well, I
thinking.
filled it out according to, my current habits. So my takeout habits and stuff. So I don't know if we can change anything now. We just gotta, because there already 100 and something people filled it out. We don't know on what basis they filled it out.
Yeah.
What were
Let's
the results of the 100 people? Did we get much feedback of what they wanted to see in terms of the 100 folks?
Yeah, so it's still early, hopefully, but one of the questions was about what are the types of businesses you want to see, and coffee shop and bakery were very high on the list. Trying to think of anything else that really stood out in terms of the prioritizing amenities. Sidewalks were really high on the list. the open-ended question about restaurants, what kind of cuisine or restaurants would you like, is all over the map. That one is probably going to be hard to quantify. Nothing else really stands out right now that I can recall.
Betsy, does the platform that we used, does it collate all the data except for those kind of fill in the blanks? Or is that something you have to do manually?
No, it does. It's really great. And I had hoped I have to download something to my home computer that I hadn't thought of before the meeting started. I'd hoped to screen share with you because they present it in two ways, which is really nice. So if you're a more visual person, they have really colorful charts. And then they also just kind of tabulate and say 70% said X.
Oh, nice.
And then I can also download the spreadsheet, which I shared with you guys, which is significantly less helpful than seeing the pretty colorful charts, at least for me.
Yeah, but to go from 44 to 130 something, that's impressive.
Yeah, and it also tells you how many people looked at the survey. So there were 300 views, and that is all of us looking at it before going live, but that wasn't a lot. That was maybe, 10 views.
Sure.
So it could be people looking at it and then coming back to actually do it, or people looking at it just out of curiosity and not doing it. But it 300 views and about 140 responses.
Great start. So are we gonna not edit the intro and just let people fill it out the way, whether they're doing now or later, and just leave it up to them? Or do we want to kind of guide it?
I say let them fill it out if they have questions like those folks have. Just we can answer them, right?
Okay.
Keep it even. Standard for everyone. I was just thinking about something. We have a new commissioner on the board, and I didn't even introduce him or anything. I don't know. Don, we haven't met personally, but I just wanted to introduce Donovan Lofters and say welcome to EDC. And if you want to take a second or two to just introduce yourself to everyone, that would be nice.
Hi guys. I'm Donovan. I've been a Woodbridge resident for, I want to say, almost 10 years or so. I'm an accountant by trade. I'm a controller. I work for a fund servicing firm down in the New York City area. I'm glad to be on board and, lend give some stuff of value where I can. And nice to meet you guys.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Donovan.
Oh, that's
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks. All right. Good. Okay, so now we can discuss the Woodbridge Bucks. Betsy, do you want to? I mean, we've all sort of Debbie Brander, and Sean and Betsy and I have met to discuss this in a special meeting, and it's a cool program, and we're just trying to figure out the real dynamics on rolling it out. So I think Betsy's got some logos she can show us and some other things. And basically the program is to help us promote local businesses. It's to engage the community and letting the community reach out and say, we had a great experience at XYZ business. And then the town was basically going to be buying gift cards from that business that gets promoted to give to that person to use at the business. So it's our own little, our own little economy booster, economic stimulus package, if you will. But it's just a way to sort of promote local business and try to engage the community in the business, show that we care and we want them to do well and get through this tough time. I don't know, Betsy,
Sure. So last month, we came with the idea of creating a kind of generic gift certificate that could be used at any Woodbridge business that agrees to participate in the program. And over the course of a couple meetings, we sort of hammered out the details. So we would do up to 20 $25 gift certificates, so $500. And we thought it would be a good idea to concentrate those gift certificates in the month of February with maybe a little spillover into March. And it would be people could enter by posting on Facebook and or by sharing with the town a positive Google review or positive Yelp review that they did about a local business. And we agreed that it doesn't have to be a Woodbridge resident participating, because anybody could be spending money locally and saying favorable things about Woodbridge businesses. That helps everybody. And people who do either of those things, share on Facebook and tag the town so that I know they're sharing on Facebook, or send in a positive review from elsewhere, would be entered into a drawing. And we decided after kind of discussing this, we shied away from setting a specific number of people to be entered in, or to be specific number of gift certificates to draw each week, so that assuming the program gains popularity over the course of the month, maybe there's 1 or 2 gift certificates done the first week of February, but maybe there's 4 or 5 or 6 done in the end of February. And then they'd have to be spent by June 1 to give businesses the time to send them into the town to then be reimbursed for their $25. Does that accurately cover what we discussed?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the one thing we didn't really discuss that you brought up, which is important, is the fraud aspect. So we thought about, there's a certificate with the logo and it's numbered and it's hand signed by Betsy or Tony or someone at town hall to verify. But how do we know that the winner is not making copies? So we thought, I don't know what the answer is to that. We tossed around a couple of ideas, but I think we need
QR code on
to.
them?
Well, so one thing I thought about was we have gold stickers that we imprint with the town seal. And those are used when we give out certificates or proclamations or, things of not monetary value, but sort of things of that kind of value.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Is there kind of embosser or a seal or something that's really hard to replicate?
So I think that's probably our best bet. You wouldn't really be able to photocopy that, and nobody else has the town seal.
And maybe in the fine print it says, like, to the merchant that this, how like you have a check that has a watermark, to say this certificate should have to validate this certificate should have a raised seal, gold sticker, or something like that. Do not accept if it's a copy or something like that. And then when the businesses sign on, maybe we email them a picture of it so they know exactly what to accept. So they're not accepting some. I mean, listen, what are we going to be out $25 if someone is so talented? However, it's just not the right. It's just not. It's just not nice.
Another solution I was thinking about for that is, if we just create like some kind of like alphanumeric sequential number, for these things, and you actually have that, have that information reside on a shared spreadsheet. Betsy has access to it, the stores have access. So everyone can see it live, and then when it's redeemed, they cross it off, and they can use that for like a live reference to see if it's been used or not.
The raffle aspect of it, how are we going to control that? Meaning, when we get a bunch of different folks that post about the restaurant, and then we're going to draw, what are we drawing and out of what, and who's drawing?
So my very high-tech solution is to literally put names in a hat. And I'm very open to other suggestions.
We're going to Facebook Live on the Woodbridge Facebook page?
Oh, God.
No, but so let's say in week 1 there's 10 people, okay? 1 wins. Do those 9 ride on for the next week, or you're done because you've already had your chance? I think, do they just stay in the pot? I don't know.
In my mind, they get taken out and then hopefully they say nice things again next week.
Okay.
Because
I'm fine
otherwise
with that. I just think we have-
we're diluting the chances for everybody in the following week, right?
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it. I just want to make sure that it's just determined. Right. So if there's 10 people who post and you put their names in a hat and you pull it at town hall and you have a witness if needed, and off you go.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody's comfortable with that number, the $500 of $25 gift certificates? We also said if, we don't necessarily need to announce the final number that we're doing. And if it's a dud for some reason and this doesn't take off, we just, maybe you don't give out $500 total. Maybe you give out 200 or whatever.
Yeah, we could say up to $500 or just avoid it altogether.
Any of you other guys have any questions about this?
So how do we get the word out again?
That was the next thing I was gonna talk about is, so we talked about social media, we've talked about, just through the email from the town. But then the other thing we were talking about was through the Woodbridge Bethany newspaper, the Woodbridge Bethany paper that we all get in our houses. But Betsy and I have discussed a little bit, and the cost of the advertising in that paper is not the cheapest in the world, almost what we'd be paying for the gift certificate. So I don't know, Betsy, if you want to.
Yes, I apologize because I don't have the number off the top of my head, but we had talked about the possibility of doing a half-page ad or a quarter-page ad 2 months in a row. So in January, leading up to the kickoff in February, and then again in February to remind people of the program. But I think if we do 2 half-page ads, was that what we were talking about? 2 half-page ads, or were we talking about 2
It's so much
quarter-page ads?
money. 2 half-page ads. I thought we talked about a half and a quarter, and
Or half
I
and a
kind of
quarter?
agree
Okay.
with Jeremy that maybe we do less. Maybe we just do less of that. Maybe it's just 1 quarter page or something like that, almost in a way just to make sure the word gets out for people who don't get the emails or the social media. It makes us seem like, what, we really tried. We did the newsletter, we did the newspaper, we did email, we did Facebook. So you can't blame us if you didn't hear about it. We tried all the avenues. So I don't think we need to do too much on the newspaper. I don't think it's worth the money.
Although it is significantly cheaper by like $100 if we do black and white versus color. I could run the numbers again tomorrow at the office and send them out to everybody. If you wanted to do 2 months in a row, quarter page black and white, and I apologize again, I don't have the numbers in front of me, that might be a good option.
Can we do anything on social media where we spend $50 or we spend $10 a week to promote the post or something like that, where you boost?
Oh, that's a great idea.
I've never done that before, but I could look into it.
I've done it a lot for my for a small business that I help, and it's just as easy as putting in either age or zip code. So for us, it's easy. It's just anyone who registered their Facebook account with 06525. You don't have to worry about gender or age or activities, hobbies, any keywords, because it's everybody in town.
Okay.
And it's really inexpensive to boost for 1 week to get the word out, or even the 5 weeks, the duration.
Yeah, you can choose how much money you want to spend a week.
Yep.
I think that would also be a good experiment to see if we could get a handle on quantifying reach, on comparing the print versus any kind of online media. Use that for future reference.
I do think we do need print though, just to make sure we cover our bases, but it could be the quarter page black and white just to make a statement.
Oh, no, I'm not saying not to do the, I'm just saying we can use this to each know how, like, you know, how much weight we want on print.
Yeah.
Here. If we're not getting a lot of reach out of the print, then we don't have to sweat it too much.
Mm-hmm. Right, because someone who's only seeing it via the newspaper is going to be that person who writes Betsy a letter with a stamp on it saying a good review about a business to be entered to win. So it's not going to be that many, but there are a few, and no one should be left out.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on this? Betsy, do you have the logo?
So I sent it out earlier. I don't have it at home, but Debbie made 3 different colored versions. So one was the blue circle with the yellow, the blue border with the yellow circle. One was blue, and the blue stayed the same. And then there are 2 other options with different greens inside, right? The one was a darker green and one was a lighter green.
One was both a brighter, darker green. One was a light green. They're attached to the email you sent out this afternoon or this morning.
Do we want to make a choice on which one we're going to choose? Is that what we want? Do we want to get that over tonight?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know too, so Debbie sent the file to me, but I wasn't able to edit it. So I don't know if people have preferences on colors or if there's a different shade that people feel strongly about. I don't know.
I think I've jumped over to the green camp.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me give you the ability here. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Is that working?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right. So here's the blue and yellow. Here's the blue and green, and here is your blue and lighter green. And Debbie, you did an awesome job with these. These are great.
Oh, thanks.
Does anyone have any thoughts? We're sort of a blue and green sort of town. It's just my thought, but does anyone have any thoughts on these, on the design, on anything?
We tried to keep it simple, knowing that it could be in the newspaper in black and white or color. It could be small on a sticker or a gift card. It could be large on a flyer.
Does anybody have a preference?
Oh, so are we, should we just go ahead and?
Yeah, what do you like, Sean? What do you like? I'm not offended.
I vote for the blue and green.
Middle?
Green.
This one? This one here?
Yeah.
The brighter, darker green?
I like this as well.
I'm good with that too.
Okay.
Do we have to vote on this? I don't think we have to vote on this.
I don't think we have to vote on it, no. But at least, now I know your preference for putting it on the marketing materials.
Great.
And then Betsy, we'll have a chance to look at that ad before it goes in.
Yes, so I'll send, and I've got a rough draft of it. So I can send the rough draft tomorrow with the pricing to everybody to just see if you guys are okay with the pricing for the quarter page ads. And I'll send out a draft of the ad as well. And you guys can tell me if I'm headed in the right direction or if you have any tweaks.
And when does notice go to the businesses to join in?
So We had talked about sending out the physical copy of the business survey with a cover letter from Beth. And the cover letter can include the information about the Woodbridge Bucks program. So now that we've got this kind of hammered out, I can get that ready, that letter ready, and that would go probably the first week of January. So businesses would hopefully get it, assuming the mail is moving better after the holidays, hopefully get it that first or at least the second week of January. And then we could follow up with, emails or something.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll be noticeable with the logo on the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for all of you that frequent, different sorts of businesses in town, I was at the brewery the other day, and Rob saw me up front, and I was just like, "Hey, did you hear about what we're gonna do with EDC? We're gonna do our own little mini stimmy." He's like, "That's a great idea." So I think that if you're at a restaurant that you go to, or a little market that you go to, or wherever it may be in town, tell them that we're trying to do this because we're thinking about the small businesses, and we really want to help them in any way we can. So let them know that we're trying to put this together and look out for it.
And I think even if someone doesn't end up spending the gift certificate at any particular business, I think it's still useful to get, people speaking positively about our businesses.
Absolutely.
I agree. All right, great. I guess we'll move on, unless there's any other questions regarding the Woodbridge Bucks. Draft budget for 2022. Can't believe we're talking about that.
So the budget that you should have received in your email, and it's on the town website, is very similar to budgets that we've done in the past. I did include more funding for printing and binding, for marketing materials. And everything else is pretty much the same as what we've done in the past.
I had a question. Sorry, I had stepped away for a little while. We don't have to show the Woodbridge Bucks in our budget?
Say that again. You don't have to show what?
The Woodbridge Bucks in our budget?
No, because that will be money spent before the next budget. So we'll be asking winners to spend their gift certificates by June 1, and businesses will be asked to turn it in for reimbursement before June 30th. And the budget we're talking about now starts July 1.
Okay.
Betsy, what email did you send that out in?
If it wasn't sent in the actual email, it was the link that was out earlier today. It's on the town's website on the EDC page.
Yeah, there's a link in this
Very
morning's
quickly,
email.
Betsy, just wondering, the increase in marketing materials, is it just due to more events that we're planning?
Well, and it could be, ideally we'd get onto the Site Finder website, which we had discussed in the past, to help have the town's commercial real estate listed on the town website.
Thanks.
Any other questions about budget? Get a motion to approve the budget.
The motion approved.
Get a second.
I'll second.
Sorry, I missed that. Who seconded?
Sean,
Sean, okay.
any discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question. Are we approving it or recommending it?
Commending it.
You would recommend it to the Board of Finance.
So I think we need to revise the motion.
Sure. The motion would be to approve the recommended budget. All right. So Toby, you want to re-motion?
Do it again to make it official.
Sure. So, motion to approve the recommended budget.
I'll second.
Eric?
We don't see you, Ewan.
I'm not hearing everything you're saying, Jeremy.
I just said all in favor.
Oh, yeah.
Approved unanimously. All right, so I'll move on to the meeting dates for 2021.
So the meeting dates that I suggested for you all stick with the schedule that you're used to, second Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. However, the second Thursday of November is Veterans Day, which is a holiday. So I suggested in the document that you move to either November 4 or 18th. However, on the 18th, the Board of Finance has a meeting at 6 p.m. and the Conservation Commission has a meeting at 7 p.m. Of course, this is assuming it's a conflict if we're able to physically meet in person. But there are no conflicts that I'm aware of on November 4.
I'm okay with moving it to the 4th.
I'm okay with the 4th.
Okay.
Can we discuss, we discussed it before about starting a little earlier than 7? Anybody interested? Or you guys like 7?
Well, 6 tonight. Was 6 o'clock okay with everyone? I know Tuesday is tough for you, right? When you start commuting, and I don't know about you, Donovan, if you actually commute to the city when we actually get back to normal life.
I probably just won't be doing the video. Probably do by phone.
Right.
So 6 is fine today.
Yeah, I mean, go on, Donovan. Yeah, I mean, if it's the case that, you know, we can do it via phone, if that's not a problem, you know, once COVID passes, then I don't expect that that'll be a problem. Moving it earlier, that is. But, you know, if it's the case that we'd like all members to be there physically in person, I certainly know the commute might complicate that for me.
What do you think, Betsy, about technology once we get back to normal? Do you think we can accommodate something like that, or is it going to be tough?
I think it would be hard. So we do have a conference call line that we could use for people who are not able to be physically present. But it's not always the easiest thing to hear off of, or, you know, just especially because of the way that the room is set up with the horseshoe tables. So I think sometimes the people on the phone also have a hard time hearing the people in the meeting.
And I don't want to keep Toby away from, you know, being a part of the meeting by
Mhm.
making it, you know, difficult for him to get there. I'm up for 7:30 in the morning. But so I mean, I don't want to keep anyone out. We have a group that's actually coming to the meetings now. I feel like we have a solid, you know, core for the EDC. I don't want to keep anybody out and inhibit us from having quorums and things like that. So if it's okay, I guess we should probably keep it at 7 just so we can accommodate it. Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of pick up the 7. The only thing I could think of is if, hang on a second. If the people who do have long commutes, if for some reason they have a heads up on being available earlier, like a week ahead of time, could they maybe just give us up and say, all right, maybe we could do a 6?
I
Or
think
is
that
that-
gets confusing because Betsy has to file the meeting notices and then she has to cancel and then refile. I think that's tough to change.
All right, because
Um,
I forget what the rules are for the posting the meeting. It has to be what, 24 or 48 hours ahead of
Yeah.
time or something.
Yeah, I can do it 24 hours ahead of time, but changing it makes it a special meeting. But the only thing that means is that you can't add things to the agenda, or you,
I forget
so
what I
it's
said
not a
then.
huge, but it's not a huge problem.
I mean, do we want to do something hybrid, like we're 6 o'clock through April, and then we'll see if we're able to meet in person after that? I don't think we're meeting in person anytime soon.
I can't imagine we're meeting in person before.
The fall.
September, October. Yeah.
But we
Yeah,
don't know
6
when,
shouldn't be a problem at all if we're not meeting in person.
All right, let's do that. Like for the first 2/3 of the year, we could do 6 and then 7 on the latter part.
want to do 6 through July and then 7 in September. We can always change it. We have plenty of time to change it. And if it doesn't work well, can we change it back, Betsy, by February or March if it's not working well for some of us? Or these are set in stone?
The only thing that's set in stone is that this is the schedule for the year. So if we change it, it's a special meeting. But like I said, special really just means that you can't change the agenda the way that you could at a regular meeting. But yeah, I would be surprised if we were meeting in person before July. Very surprised.
All right. I mean, is anybody against the idea of doing this 6 o'clock on that, through July and then,
I'm not.
all right.
I'm good
I
with
say we do it.
I'm good with 6 o'clock through July. If we're not meeting in person.
Toby, what about you?
Yeah. I mean, it's totally not a problem for me as long as it's not the case that I have to resume my commute. The commute is what complicates things.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say I am interested in kind of getting maybe a sense of what precipitated the conversation about moving it to 6, because if it's a case that like a majority of like the members, like 6 is really ideal, then I think maybe that's new information that might be important to know as well, or to consider. I'm not really sure where everyone stands, but just, it's a thought.
I think it's Toby. I think it's just because we're old and we're really.
It was getting late on some of those 7 o'clock meetings, especially when we were in person.
Come
It was
on.
just getting late.
Just being candid.
Fair.
I mean,
No,
that's understandable.
one time it was 9:30, I think, when we ended.
We did have a long meeting. I think that's when we were doing the plot maps of trying to figure out how to lay out the survey. So do we need to make a motion to approve the 6 o'clock meeting time for the first half of the year, and then we TBD the second half of the year, or we just change to 7 after?
I think we need a time with it, but then, as suggested, if things miraculously get better or for some reason don't get better, sort of at the time that we anticipated, we can always change the time and it's just a special meeting. But we do need to have a vote on the meeting dates for the calendar year.
Okay. So can I get a motion to? Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make sure, so, because it is the case that I think, for the latter part of the year after July, that, we're thinking about maybe meeting at 7, and then thank you very much to accommodate, like, I think me and others who commute. And so I am wondering, is there anything else that I can do to let people know so that if there is availability to move it to 6, that's possible? Like, I know we kind of discussed maybe letting Betsy know, but it seemed like maybe the idea was canned because of like the more work it would generate for her. But is there like anything else? Because I'd certainly be happy to like explore that if that's, if there's another option. Because it may be the case that there are some days I'm able to get back at earlier time is all I want to bring up. But I don't.
It's not a lot of extra work on my end. It's like very minuscule.
So what's the best way to present this? We need a motion to approve the meeting dates with the November 4th change to the calendar and we're going to say 6 p.m. through June meetings, and then 7 p.m. thereafter.
I think through July, and then August we have off.
Through July. Okay. August is off. Okay.
And then September, a 7. And then just one edit for do we have to include January 2022? Otherwise you'll have a quick edit on that. You have 201.
Going back in time.
Yeah.
Yes, 2022.
So January 13th, 2022, November 4th, Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Get a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Thanks, Toby.
Oh, sounds like a good plan.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Approved unanimously. Onwards, chair report. I don't have too much to report, to be honest with you. You know, there's some stuff going on in town, and that's the next agenda item. I just want us to try to do our best to try to support the town. There's a lot of things that are going on at the government level, people, at TP&Z, and there's a lot of things that are on the table that may change, I don't know, the face of the town. And I think it just behooves everyone to follow it, know what's going on, and at some point, as these things get presented, it may be looked upon us to give a recommendation or an opinion on certain things to, recommend to TP&Z and things like that. So, it's good for us to keep a finger and an ear out for what, we're going on with these, zoning developments and things like that in town. I don't think there's that much else. The last couple of months have been pretty, not so, eventful as far as I'm concerned. And as far as the 30/30 Club, there hasn't been a meeting since the 30/30 Commission. There hasn't been a meeting since there was a town where we walked around town, which I couldn't make it. So there hasn't been that much on that front. I don't know. I don't think I have much more else on the chair other than wishing everyone happy and healthy and safe holidays and stay safe and all that kind of stuff. We don't have Meek on the call, so I don't have a Board of Selectmen update. I don't know if that's
Trying to think. So one thing exciting that happened at the Board of Selectmen meeting recently was the board agreed to sign on to a program that would put solar panels on the roof of the new firehouse and the Public Works building. And so that'll stabilize our electric rates for the next 20 years. It'll save us, it was estimated to be about $95,000 over the course of 20 years in electricity. So that's pretty exciting. And then the thing I wanted to update you all on for TPZ is the application for affordable housing was continued to January 4. There will be a public hearing then. And that's very likely going to be continued again to a future date to accommodate all the comments from the public. Also on January 4, the brewery will have a public hearing on their application to move over to the corner of Litchfield and Bradley. So I think that after that meeting, at the next meeting, TPZ would be able to vote on that to approve or not the project. TPZ recently just approved change to the regulations to make it more flexible to have an active adult community in the business district. And there's not an application right now, but due to the changes, it's likely that there would be an application, most likely for the parcel directly across the street from where the brewery is going. So the northern corner of Bradley and Litchfield. And lastly, TPZ just received an application for an upscale wine store that wants to open at 245 Amity. And they'll receive the application formally at their January 4th hearing. And then they'll have, at their January 4th meeting, and they'll have a public hearing on that in February.
Yeah, I think the attorney presented their last meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or in the junior, yeah. Betsy, I have a question about the solar panels. I haven't had to view the select meeting video, but do you have any idea who they contracted with for the solar panels?
So it's through a group called the Connecticut Green Bank, and they're a quasi-public entity. And they've started this new program, which is a huge help to towns like Woodbridge. It's called the Solar Map, and that's the municipal something. I can't remember what it stands for. But the idea is that towns, especially small towns like Woodbridge, just don't have the staff to pull off all the paperwork and all the legwork involved in getting projects like this. So they contacted a lot of small towns, and they're doing solar projects simultaneously on roofs around the region. And because of doing it that way, they're able to get better rates for us than we would have if we were just going out on our own. But I can't remember the name of the company that's going to do the actual install.
I mean, I love the notion of it. It's fantastic. I support renewable energy. It's just when I number in the paper, I was that it was now it's like less than $5,000 a year it saves us, and I would see a bigger saving from doing something like that. So I was just curious.
Yeah, so they handled the Green Bank handled the RFP, and they did all of the legwork.
Okay.
Would those be the same folks that you would reach out to discuss possibly using the portion of the golf course as a solar farm?
So if the board wanted to go in that direction, we'd probably put out an RFP, and any solar company would be welcome to bid on that.
There was a proposal
Talk about it.
a couple years ago for that. It just didn't get any traction because there was, all the focus was on the 55 and over housing.
The golf course is so large that it seems that you could take the portion over by towards Route 34 in the Merritt and utilize it where there seems to be a lot of sun over there, where no one would, they wouldn't be building any developments in that area anyways, and utilize it. A number of the acres over there for some sort of, I just don't know the logistics of how they would permit from that area. I just always thought it was an interesting idea, being that we've had such a difficult time trying to, come up with a development idea for that property. I think that's it. Betsy, am I missing anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Chairman, and maybe I totally missed it in the minutes or past meeting when I've checked out, but I read it in the newsletter that town's hiring a part-time economic development person.
A part-time planner.
Did we ever discuss that in a meeting?
So it's a planner, not an economic development director.
Okay, but I'm just asking if we were ever made aware of that at a meeting.
No, I don't think that was discussed at an EDC meeting.
Okay.
That brings up a good point with some stuff. Just to throw it out there since we're at the end. Things like that, and the stuff with the folks that shot the videos for the town, when they reached out to businesses after they shot the videos, sort of, using the fact that they shot the videos to promote themselves to local businesses. We didn't know they were going to be doing that kind of stuff, and we weren't really even talked about this town planner stuff. I don't know. I feel like if we're really going to be a economic development commission and people are going to look to us to try to boost economy, and shouldn't we be brought into these discussions to some extent? We don't have to vote on it, but shouldn't they be brought to us a little bit just so we have a little bit of a say on the matter?
Yeah, I can try to do a better job of funneling that information to you guys.
I'm not pointing fingers at you at all. I'm just saying you wouldn't want to say that to us. You wouldn't say that to us unless you were asked to or told to bring it to our attention. But I think with stuff like that, I think we as a commission would like to be able to weigh in on things like that. And it only came to me because the thing with the videos, I was in my office at the office, and my boss came over to me and said, "Do you know about this?" And I said, "What?" He said, "I just got a call from this video company that did the videos for the town, and they're using the town videos to try to get us to, you know, do some commercials on the town website. And I said, I didn't know they were doing that. But they did do a good job with the videos. But I think something like that for us, it'd be good for us to be able to weigh in on that kind of thing. Or at least know about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're even at the minimum, just be in the loop, so that we don't sound dumb when somebody mentions it to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I hope in the future when these things go up against, you know, when planning and zoning has certain things they're trying to figure out, and when we're trying to, you know, enact new abatements and whatever in town, things that we've talked about before, that we're looked at as a source for, you know, what our thoughts are on the matter to some extent. I know we're not going to be a voting body, but I think our recommendation and our opinion should matter. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. That makes sense.
I guess we're at the end of the agenda. Does anyone have any other thoughts or discussion items? Well, I sincerely wish all of you a very happy holidays, a healthy, safe New Year, and all that stuff. And hopefully, we can get this Woodbridge Bucks thing off the ground and make a nice little impact in the community. And thank you, Betsy, so much for all the aid and help and all this stuff you do during the year. It's not without notice that you basically help us keep going. So thanks so much for all your help.
And thank you guys.
Thank you, Betsy.
All right. Happy holidays. Happy New Year, everybody.
Motion to
Yeah.
adjourn.
Yes, motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys.
All right, take care, everyone.
Thank